All right, hello and welcome to episode 8 of the Too Hard to Pass podcast. I am Juan Martinez, your co-host, and next to me is the one, the only, the legend. You're supposed to say
somebody
something.
else here?
What are you talking?
Is somebody else here?
I said the one, the only, the legend, and then you're supposed to respond to that.
Right, I know. So who are you talking about?
Jacques Slade. The legend,
all right,
the one, the only.
Let's not lie to the audience. Let's not start the show, giving with falsehoods. Let's and on this show along with him is the ordinary, the very regular.
Oh no,
just as normal as they come. Jacques said, "Yo, what up, y'all? What up? How's your dude?"
Oh, we just go. Yeah, this is for the people who were watching the video version, along with us just talking nonsense. We are doing the things.
Hand movements. There's hand movements and things going on.
Just hand movements and everything. Yes. So, no. This is the next episode of Too Hard to Pass podcast. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. We're also on the Spotify's, the Apple Podcasts, the Amazon Music, the Googles, and all that stuff. Yeah,
so give us the 5 stars. Give us a great review. Share with your friends. Because we're doing good stuff here. We're doing good work. We're doing good work.
And also, we were sponsored to community, Jacques. So, we were looking at comments from the previous episodes, and some people like to post their Sneaker Mount Rushmore pluses on the comments. And
I like that. Yeah,
greatly appreciate that. So we kind of just give those the shout out and everything. But somebody on a previous episode, they posted their Air Jordan 4 Sneaker Mount Rushmore, and they happened to put something on there that kind of I would say kind of triggers me a little bit, Jacques.
Triggers you a little bit.
A little bit. This is at Childish Aquino, and his picks for his Sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus were the OG Black Cement, the collab is the Undefeated, the PE was the Aaliyah May, which is cool.
Oh, nice one, yes.
Did not put a wild card, but his non-OG pick was the Manila. I don't know if you remember.
That's a good looking sneaker.
Is it though? Is it?
It's not. You don't think it's a good-looking sneaker?
It's called the Manila, so obviously it represents the Philippines. It was in honor of the opening of a Jordan brand store in the Philippines. I believe. I think it was at the Fort. But I have to say, ever since I saw that sneaker, I have been super, let's just say, disappointed with it, because what does it have to do with Manila? It's a green sneaker. And, there was always that confusion when it first came out. People thought it was going to be like an Oregon Ducks colorway. But if you look at the description, I've tried to look it up. It says, the Jordan 4 Manila is supposed to represent, the islands. And what does the green have to do with anything? And so people had to actually do some research and, dig up the fact that maybe it was based on the flag of Manila. But that is such a deep cut that no one knows about it. It is such an obscure reference. And I just felt like we had one chance. We had one chance to do a collaboration, a Jordan for, my country, the Philippines, my home country. And it was I would say it was a bit of a botch, because we've seen Nike work with the Philippines before on different products. Obviously there's a long history of working with LeBrons. There were a couple of excellent Kobes. There was a Kobe 9, I think it was, that was based on the jeepneys that are back home. And I thought that was a pretty cool collaboration. I thought that was a pretty cool homage to the Philippines. This Jordan 4 Manila just falls short of that, man. And it's just, it could have been so much better. And no, here's the thing. I am glad that it happened. I'm glad that there's a collaboration. I'm glad that there's a Jordan brand store in the Philippines of that stature. It's just that the sneaker could have been so much better. And no disrespect to the person who designed it. No disrespect to people who did the work on that stuff. I'm glad that it happened, but it felt like it could have been so much more. So that's just my little let's just say rant about that. Years after the fact. Years after the fact.
Okay, so I'm gonna play devil's advocate here.
Here we go.
Now I obviously I am not from the Philippines. I know you didn't realize that, but I'm not from the Philippines. So I know, right? So I'm just saying this as an outsider here. like if a Kobe was called the Kobe 5 LA, I wouldn't be upset that it didn't look like the USA colors.
Sure.
So I feel like that's what's happening here. I think people are taking this Jordan 4 as a Jordan 4 Philippines when it's a Jordan 4 Manila.
Right.
I feel like those are two distinctly different things.
Sure.
And so they're highlighting the city of Manila as opposed to highlighting the Philippines as a whole.
Okay.
And so why is that bad?
Oh, I wouldn't say it's bad. It's just that the reference was obscure. Like, there's so many more things we can highlight about Manila. It's, one of the more, if not the city that everybody thinks about when they think about the Philippines. There's just so many more things they could have referenced. It's just that the flag is just such a, no one really knows what the flag of Manila is. It's just such a little thing that people don't really think about. That's more my thing. Like,
I can see that.
If you want to talk about like it being representative of like the many islands of the Philippines, I can kind of understand that a little bit. But like you said, it's the islands of the Philippines. It's like that's not actually Manila. So that part I do. I understand your point with that one. It's just that if it's based on the flag of Manila, it's just something that just never really got really resonated with me because, like I said, it's not really something that we celebrate or discuss or talk about like back home. Like there's the flag of the Philippines and that's that. But the flag of Manila, it's green. And
I get that.
Sure.
I get that because I guess because I don't even know what the flag of LA looks like.
Exactly. That's the other thing, right? Or the flag of California.
I know the flag of California, but I don't know the flag of LA's flag. So I'm gonna look that up right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's
so
just
all right. So I get it. Yeah. So I would if someone said this is like the shoe for LA, I would automatically think it was going to be purple and gold. But
right.
It's not. Apparently, the flag of LA is red, yellow, and green.
Yeah, and
which
that would
I had never seen before.
Right, and if someone were to make a sneaker that said LA and you saw those kinds of colors on it, you'd be like, what? I don't understand why they would do that. You would have to actually look it up. And like I said, if it was more of a common thing, it was more something that we always saw. Like when I would go to Manila, I never really saw the flag anywhere. Now, if it was something that was more common, then maybe I would understand. But because it wasn't something that was something we saw all the time, that's why I was just a little confused by that. And and that's why we're talking about that all these years later.
No, I get it. I get it. I get it because now looking at the flag of LA, I had no idea that was the flag of LA. But
I don't even know what it is right now. I might look it up later. Yeah.
Yeah, but now I feel a little bit more educated, and I feel like now I know what the flag of Manila looks like. So
and that's what it was all about. It was about us finding out what the flag of Los Angeles and Manila looks like.
And Manila, and knowing is half the battle, Juan.
Was that G.I. Joe?
That was G.I. Joe.
Okay. I forget, those things at the end of the cartoons, right? Was it G.I. Joe? Was it Transformers? They were giving us life lessons, Jacques. They were giving us life lessons.
Yeah. And we're better for it.
We're better for it. All right. Well, on to the show. Tyrese Haliburton. He was pictured during media day for the Indiana Pacers wearing Prada loafers. And people thought, well, that's interesting because he's a Nike guy. He wore the Kobe's during the Olympics whenever he actually got on the court. Yes. And now he is actually moving on to other things, namely Puma. He is now signing with Puma. And according to the tweet from a friend of the show, Nick DePaula, Pacers all-star point guard Tyrese Haliburton has signed a massive multi-year shoe deal with Puma to become a future face of the company. Now, that in of itself is cool. Tyrese Haliburton moving to Puma seems like a good deal. I mean, we need more variety in the space. The thing that kind of got me, though, was the fact that it says future face of the company. Now, is Tyrese Haliburton the type of athlete that could be the face of a brand? And also, don't they already have a face of the brand at Puma in LaMelo Ball? Now, there could be multiple faces of the brand. I'm not saying there couldn't be.
Yes.
when you look at it from a certain degree of like, wait, like LaMelo's already there. He's kind of like the top of the food chain at Puma, and so Tyrese coming over is like, oh, okay, well, that's good, but also, could he become the face of the brand at some point? It's just kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we consider Tyrese Haliburton as a tentpole sort of athlete. Like, no, not that he's not a great player, not that he's a great basketball player. Obviously, he's good at what he does. But we just don't. I don't think the community and the community at large see him as a sort of tentpole like celebrity in that sense, like that athlete celebrity crossover. Yeah. So to see him being positioned as the face of a brand is not expected. Him signing with Puma, sure, great, go ahead. But being the face of the brand, that I think is going to be a bit of a challenge. He's not necessarily a household name. Yes, he played in the Olympics or whatever, but that doesn't make him a household name to many people. And unless he's LeBron or, he has that sort of notoriety, that Kyrie notoriety that we kind of talked about a few episodes ago, it's going to be challenging for him. But I hope Puma is kind of gearing up for that. I also saw that the shoe that they're putting him in is like at $250 or something like that.
Oh, I did not know that. Wow.
Is another like, wait, whoa. If that's going to be his shoe, like that's a hard sell period, no matter who you have as the lead guy, whether it could be Kobe Bryant returns and you sell it at $250 and people will be like, all right, look, I love Kobe and I'm glad that he's back, but $250, that's hard. That's a tough sell.
That's a tough sell.
So I'm glad that Puma is diversifying their portfolio. Like LaMelo's cool for that younger generation. Tyrese is kind of going to bring like an older sort of generation that's kind of, I would say a more mature ball player, a more mature sneaker connoisseur or sneaker buyer. So it's great to have that variety in their lineup. I just don't know if he has the celebrity cachet that you would want for somebody to be leading your brand.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Is when you talk about like celebrity, LaMelo Ball was that. Still is that celebrity. He came into Puma. With Big Baller Brand, all of the hype coming into that. And so that's why, out of the gate, he had a signature shoe. And now he has like a lifestyle brand that he works with and like, has released a sneaker alongside with that, like a skate. What is it? The La Francais? Yeah, I mean, that's La Francais. So that's, that's what kind of Tyrese is competing with to a certain degree. And you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe Tyrese is being positioned as more of the, I wouldn't say more serious hooper, but somebody who's a little bit more accomplished, I would say, because Tyrese has definitely done more.
There you go. That's a good word for it.
Yeah. Someone who's done a little bit more. Like, he's, like I said, he has the gold medal. He has more all-stars, just a little bit more accomplished than LaMelo. But in terms of celebrity and who's got a bigger profile, I mean, LaMelo's outlapping Tyrese by a significant margin. And that's not even the other thing with that is Puma has Scoot Henderson, who has maybe the most obscure signature shoe in the game right now. He was a rookie last year for the Blazers, and he had a signature come out that was called the Scoot Zero, and I don't even recall ever seeing it or anybody talking about it. And now he even has a second signature shoe coming out this season, and no one's really being excited for it and
talking about it.
Nothing. No energy for it whatsoever. So, Tyrese could kind of maybe fall in the in between of those two, maybe, possibly, who knows? So, or
I mean, I think he would. I think he's going to have more notoriety than Scoot for sure.
Yeah. So that's why, like, signing with Puma, it sounds like a good thing. It seems like, hey, he got the bag or whatever, but he's coming into it.
Kudos to him. Get that money. Money.
And then I think he there was a post on Instagram where he did a spot that was directed, I think, by Soleil Bembury, which I thought was pretty neat.
I didn't see that. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, that seems like maybe that's the direction they're taking him in. So yeah, it's just one of those things that is curious to me, just because of like we don't know where he's going to be positioned at the brand, because of LaMelo's stature. And then, it's not just LaMelo. Like I said, there's Scoot, and then there's even like Breanna Stewart. She's got her own signature sneakers, the Stewie. Yep. So it's going to be interesting to see where Tyrese is positioned there, because and hopefully they do more to like highlight his personality, because, like I said, we don't really know enough about Tyrese to really have an opinion. I mean, I think there was a bit where we know he's a wrestling fan. He showed up at a WWE show, and it looked like him and Jalen Brunson were going to get into it, but that's about the extent of like what we know about Tyrese outside of like, being a great hooper. So yeah, it's going to be like up to PUMA to really kind of step up and really highlight what he can do if they really want to position him as a face of the company.
Yeah. How would you position Tyrese? Like if it was you, if you just got the job, head marketing guy at PUMA basketball, like how are you doing things?
Well, first of all, I would tell Tyrese it's PUMA.
Fair enough.
Right. Oh man, that joke doesn't get old to us. But I think I would position him as, well, maybe the 250. I wouldn't have him been wearing $250 sneakers. I wouldn't do that. I think that's a wild move. I would kind of position him as like somebody who, doesn't have a signature shoe at the moment, but we're placing him kind of the in between, like slightly above like LaMelo's positioning, because I think LaMelo's, what is it, price of like 120, 130 or something like that. So whatever their sneaker is, like the All Pro, I think it's, what is the All Pro Nitro or something, or whatever sneaker they have, like position it a little bit higher than that. Like maybe like a sneaker that's priced in like the 150, 160 range, but nothing above that. I think anything above that is a little bit egregious, but kind of position him in that and hope that he just balls out. And, like I said, there's that spot with Saleh Benberry, and kind of get him into those kind of like more artistic, creative, like, a little bit more high-minded, because you have the kids with LaMelo. You have like the younger generation with LaMelo and Scoot. So aiming for something a little bit like higher up in terms of like the creativity and, like how you want like, Tyrese to be positioned, I think would probably be like the best for him.
I like that. High-minded. I like that. Yeah. I think that's a good, I think that's a good angle for him.
Right. And maybe if like, wait, he's not on the Netflix show, right? Like, I don't think he wasn't like one of the 5.
I don't know. I don't know.
I would try to get him on the next season. Like if I was PUMA, I would try to pitch to Netflix, we need to get Tyrese on the next season of that show. So, anything to kind of get his name out there, kind of like what Adidas is doing for Anthony Edwards, kind of making him their Anthony Edwards in a way. So, I think that's what I would do.
That would be great.
That would be great. Getting that. But Tyrese hasn't shown that he has that like same Anthony Edwards energy. But at least getting him out there to be more, just expose him to the world would probably be like the best move.
Yeah, he feels more like a quiet baller as opposed to Anthony Edwards being like a loud baller, if that makes sense. If you play ball, you get it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You see it when you see it on the court, right? Like you see Tyrese a little more like understated. Like Anthony Edwards is more of a demonstrative. And I know we like to keep going back to Anthony Edwards, but he is that guy though. Like he is definitely
right now. Like, he's definitely that guy. He's the bar. He's the bar right now when it comes to signature shoes. Right now, he's hard to beat. The marketing plan that Adidas came up with, it's all pretty hard to beat right now.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why we keep going back to that, is because it works so well. Yeah, So, and if Tyrese can be kind of that for PUMA, something that's a little bit more like akin to like Tyrese's personality is probably like the way to go.
Yeah. I like that. Good ideas. Yeah, You're hired. Yes. You're hired.
Oh, cool. Cool. Yeah, I would like to announce that this is the last episode of Too Hard to Pass podcast. I am now signing on with PUMA.
This is the end, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the end. I'm taking it with me though, Jacques. Don't worry about it.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. We'll do this. We'll take over together. We'll take over PUMA together. Me, you, Lewis Hamilton. Me, you, Tyrese, Lewis Hamilton, Breanna Stewart. Yeah, us. It's gonna be us. Stewie. Yes. Moving on to other signing news. Juju Watkins. She has signed an extension with Nike, which my first thought. It's still weird to me to think that college athletes are signing these kinds of deals with the big brands. Man. Like it's good still, for them too. Yeah, and it's good. Don't get me wrong. It's still it's great. is still just a little bit weird for me because we grew up in the era where, you know, Jalen Rose, Chris Webber, those guys never got a dime for all of the for all of the sneakers that they sold for being part of Fab Five, and it was like illegal and all of the illegal. So, but now to hear that athletes like, you know, Juju Watkins are signing these deals and actually making money even before they step foot into the W is great. And according to ESPN, it's reportedly one of the richest in women's basketball, period. Not just pro, college, just period. Women's basketball is one of the largest extensions. And she's been signed with Nike ever since she was a high school senior. So there's always been that potential. Yeah. And I think it's great. I think it's just like one of those things that I think it's just good news for women's basketball. It's great news for, you know, college athletes that they know that there is something for them, even if things don't pan out eventually as a pro, like there is something for them starting, you know, at an earlier age, and that their hard work is rewarded, you know, and I think that's cool.
Yeah, for college, I think now is a particularly good time to be in women's sports. Like if you are a woman and you are good at what you do, whatever sport that is, I think now's a great time. We're seeing a big shift in how, you know, brands and corporations are approaching women's sports. And I think Juju and Caitlin and Sabrina and Paige are at the beginning of this shift change. And I hope it amounts to a lot better, you know, representation of them in the media and better representation of them on the court and with product and everything. Juju is a star. I mean, she's a baller. She's an all-out baller, and I you know, she has a bright future ahead of her. Now, whether she stays all 4 years in college or she decides to, can they leave to the WNBA early? Is there? I wonder, do they have the same rules like the? Well, I know the NBA you have to do like a year of college.
Yeah,
I don't know. Do they have to do a year? I wonder if that's the same for the WNBA. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't believe that up. I don't know. I would assume that the rules are the same, but maybe it just makes more sense, like marketing wise. Like, you know, she is at USC, one of the bigger colleges out there. So she gets that exposure at being at SC, you know, just gets all of the highlights and gets all of the attention. And it seems like, you know, SC is going to be positioned anyway to be like a power in the women, in the women's sport, in the women's game for a while. So maybe she gets a deep run in the tournament, maybe gets a Final Four appearance or two out there. So, you know, it just exposes her to the world and, like, you know, gets people talking about her. And then when it's time for her to actually finally go to the WNBA, you know, she gets the Caitlin Clark treatment. Hopefully none of the culture war nonsense, but just, you know, everybody's just hyped to see her actually make her way into the W. But you brought up something interesting, though, Jacques. You mentioned Juju, Paige Beckers, Caitlin Clark, and Sabrina. And they're all Nike. Nike has managed to somehow, like, lock up a generation of, like, you know, hoopers, women's college hoopers. And, you know, Sabrina's obviously, like, she already has her own signature shoe. Caitlin Clark, you know, that's just inevitable at this point. And even like a generation a little bit above them, like, you know, Asia Wilson, who finally is going to get a signature shoe. Like, seems like Nike has done a really great job of, you know, really kind of, it kind of reminds me of, was it like 2003 when LeBron, that LeBron generation, like you had LeBron at Nike, Carmelo at Jordan Brand, D Wade at Converse, even though that was less of a thing at the time. Chris Bosh was also a Nike guy. So, like, Nike, like, locked up that generation. Like, Caitlin can be, like, their LeBron. You know, Paige can be, like, their Carmelo if Paige, like, ends up going to, like, a Jordan Brand or something. And Juju could be, like, their D Wade or something. And, you know, Sabrina's already there. And then Sabrina, too. You know, I think there was that news when the CFO, Matt Friend, was talking about the Kobe's being quadruple in business. I think they also mentioned that Sabrina was, like, tripled in business. So, you know, that
Sabrina's
means
line is doing really well.
Yeah, Sabrina's line is doing well. So the future looks good, you know, for women's hoops and, like, the prospects of, like, signature sneakers and everything. So I just hope that, you know, that train just keeps going. And like I said, Nike seems to have done a really good job in, like, you know, signing all of, like, the most notable athletes. And, like, you know, it's up to, like, Adidas and Puma to kind of follow and see what they can do. But it seems like Nike has really done the work. You know, like I said, Juju was signed as a high school senior, so, you know, just getting them, like, great early on, seems to be, like, the move. So
So you said something that struck a chord, so to speak. Is the appeal of signing with Jordan Brand what it used to be?
Like, do you mean like if you're a high school athlete or a college athlete, like
or
nowadays?
Any athlete.
Or,
any
period.
athlete. Do just period. Because there was a time when signing with Jordan Brand was like the ultimate honor.
Sure. Right.
Do you feel that is still the case?
I still think it is the thing that if I was, of the age of like a Juju or something like that, or if I was that age, I still think like Jordan would be the pinnacle. But I do think it has lost some of its luster. It's not like the 2010s where everybody was like, "Oh my God," or if you were like Blake Griffin, right? When he signed with Jordan Brand, that was huge news. We thought he was going to get signature shoes. He was going to get PEs out the wazoo or whatever. And it just didn't work out that way. Like he got like the Superflies. He got some PEs, but it wasn't like the Chris Paul PEs or something like that, right? So, and of course, there's just been the overexposure of retros. People's tastes are changing. I still think at the end of the day, like I would like to be someone who would be signed to Jordan Brand. But it's definitely like a sign. It's just not what it was before, just because of like the dilution, and it's not like Jordan Brand couldn't like get back to that point. It's just going to take some work, because there's just more competition nowadays, and tastes are changing. People are branching out more. Like I saw this meme like earlier, I think it was yesterday, and someone was talking about like how in 2020 like resellers were not taking ASICs. They're like, what the hell is this, right? But in 2024, they see an ASICs. They're like, oh my God, we can make so much money off these like ASICs and all that. So, that kind of has something to do with it. People are checking out ASICs. People are checking out like more different, like, Sambas, wearing Sambas. Or, people are rocking Pumas or Salomons or Hokas. So, and On. We made the joke about like On, like, being a big deal. And we had to, like, what would an On basketball shoe look like? And that could happen someday. So, and for somebody who grew up, and if you're like a kid who grew up like wearing On running sneakers, and like you find out that, oh, they're going into basketball, I mean, you would want to be like one of the first sign on to that brand. So, but at the end of the day, like Jordan Brand still has that appeal, but it's just not the same as it once was. I guess. Yeah.
I was just curious because the sentiment towards Jordan has changed a little bit in the market. As far as how much they're coveted, and I wonder if there's a bias from people from our generation that have an inherent Jordan bias versus like the newer generation that doesn't have a Jordan bias. They're just like, oh, these are cool, so let's cop these now. But once that wave or that trend has passed, they're moving on to the next thing. They don't have the allegiance to Jordan the way that we have an allegiance to Jordan. So someone that's of Juju's generation, does she have an allegiance to Jordan the way that we have an allegiance to Jordan? And because of her allegiance is secondhand, is she looking at, okay, well, that's not the hottest thing now. That's not the trend now. And I'm not saying Juju or Paige or whoever it is signed with Jordan Brand. I'm just saying in general. I'm just using Juju as an example because she's a sophomore now, I imagine. So I was just like, just very curious about that. If that appeal for Jordan Brand is still the pinnacle, or is it Nike now, or is it Adidas now, or is it Puma now? Because of what they've seen with LaMelo Ball. Is LaMelo Ball, because of what he's been able to do with Puma, are people looking at Puma now and going like, oh, like you got to sign with Puma? Or is it Kyrie? Is Kyrie their Jordan? And now they're like, oh, Kyrie went to Anta. Like he left Nike to go to Anta. Like that's the move. You know what I mean? Like they're like, that's where you need to be. Are they more conscious of the business side of it? Is the cultural cachet of Nike no longer, and Jordan no longer the thing that most determines what these kids do in this generation?
Right. I think the thing that's going to be most interesting to watch is going to be the generation after Juju. I think it's going to be those younger kids who they're for us, like our heroes. Well, obviously Michael Jordan was like our heroes, but for me, it was more of like I was checking for Penny Hardaway, Grant Hill, those kinds of players, right? And they were wearing their own shoes. Like I wanted Fila's, I wanted the GH2 back in the days. So that generation, right? So maybe for Juju, like she still has like that Jordan, that kind of like the Jordan still has maybe that has that kind of appeal to her, but like the kids who are coming up and they see like LaMelo and he's got his own brand, he's got those funky sneakers, and it appeals to them. Like I think we look at sometimes we look at those LaMelo sneakers and we're like, oh, that's a little bit much, a little too out there. But for the younger generation that grew up like, watching Rick and Morty, I guess like that's the vibe that they really go for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that appeals to them. So that's why like PUMA, maybe not now, like not in the immediate future, but like in the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years from now, I think it's going to pay off for them, like the investment that they had in somebody like LaMelo.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, because I have nephews that are in AAU, and they still love Nike. I'm just asking. Like, my nephew just hit me up. He's like, I know you got a bunch of backpacks. Do you have like a Nike Elite? Do you have a Nike Elite backpack? And I had like an older Nike Elite backpack, and he's like, nah, I want the new one. And he was like, I'll pass. But he's still, they're still after that stuff. Those things are still in being influenced to him. And I like to talk to them whenever I go to their games or when we're hanging out, like what they're watching, what shoes they're into, and all that kind of stuff, to give me a better insight to what their generation is thinking. And Nike and Jordan still hold weight for sure, like without question. But it's interesting to see what other sneakers are able to get in on that conversation now as well. Whereas before it would have been mostly just Nike and Jordan. Now there's a lot more variables in the conversation.
Oh, so off the card, like what are those kids wearing? Like, when you ask like your nephews, like what are they wearing? Like, are they still wearing like the Nike shoes? Or are they actually like switching to like Sambas or, that kind of thing?
A lot of them are wearing Vans and Crocs. Seriously, Crocs is huge. Like they love their Crocs like that. It's a whole generation that is like fully invested in the Croc era. And Vans, they wear Vans a ton. Like a lot of them are wearing Vans all the time. On the court, they wear a mix of things. When I go to their games, I see a lot of Giannis shoes. I see a lot of Giannis, and I see a lot of Melo shoes. I think Giannis shoes because they're priced at that right price point for parents. Right. But then you also see a lot of LaMelo's shoes. You see some LeBrons. You don't see Jordans, honestly, very often. There's not a lot of kids playing in Jordans, but you do see them. But you do see LaMelo. You do see Giannis. A lot of kids still playing in Kyrie's. There's some old Kyrie's that kids are still playing in. At least from what I've seen at the AAUs in the California, Los Angeles area. This is the 8 to like 12-year-old range. It's better for the community anyway to have some variability, have like more stuff to choose from. It's better for the community.
Everybody needs to be like Jaylen Brown, where they sign with a different brand well, that's what he wanted to do initially. So, and since that didn't work out, he's like, nah, I'm gonna make my own brand now.
Yeah, he's got to do it. I think Nick Engvall was the first one to put that out there to do a Foot Locker deal, so you can wear whichever brand you want. I feel like that's probably the ultimate way. That's the best way, the ultimate way to do that.
Yeah, shout out to Nick. That's kind of like the Thanos, like, fine, I'll do it myself.
Yes, yeah.
All right, well, good discussion, Jacques. So let's move on to our first mailbag. First mailbag question.
Nice. Let's get it.
So we've got that email. It's toohard2passpodcast@gmail.com. Again, that is toohard2passpodcast@gmail.com. So I went back to the mailbag and found like one of the first emails, because I figured we'd shout it out because appreciate the person, one of the first people to send us an email. So hello, Juan and Jacques. I appreciate me being first. My name is Kai from Toronto. Huge fan of the show, and I've been waiting for Jacques and co-writer, in quotes, to do something like this to know your broader opinion on some topic, specifically on sneakers, since the segment on YouTube is quite limited. Okay. I've been in the sneaker game for a while now, and not in a million years would have thought this trend would happen. I just thought of this because of a recent release of the Saucony J-Tips and the A Ma Maniére 4s. Both collabs were released on the same day, but J-Tips was selling out while the 4s were sitting on the A Ma Maniére website. J-Tips was even released on multiple retailers with two colorways, while the A Ma Maniére 4s was only released on one website, and none of the sizes were sold out. Are we just in a different state of the sneaker market? Do people just want something different? Does stock numbers matter on this? Or is the marketing making a difference? And then there's some other stuff about like mesh runners reaching its peak. But Jacques, I didn't even know that the A Ma Maniére 4s were sitting. But obviously we know about the J-Tips, the Saucony collabs. Those became like a big deal, especially like as we headed into like last year. It became like a sneaker of the year discussion. It was in a lot of sneaker of the year discussions. But yeah, what do you think about that though, Jacques? Like, are we just in a different state of the sneaker market? I think the answer is obviously yes, but like, how different is it though? Like have people's tastes changed so much that they would rather buy Sauconys than Jordans, even though they are high-profile collabs like an A Ma Maniére?
Yeah, I think the challenge of getting these hyped releases is starting to has been biting Nike, Jordan in the butt. And these A Ma Maniére releases, I think they've started to do more numbers on them as well, in order to kind of combat that. And so this goes to show the psyche of the buyer of like, if it doesn't sell out, then I don't want it. Or if it's sitting, I don't want it. There's a lot of people in the community that have that sort of, that think that way. I'm excited, not to take away from what J-Tips and Saucony is doing, but my feeling is that it's less about what they are doing and more of a response to of the trauma that they've been enduring from trying to get Jordan and all these other releases the past few years. Now, the other thing is it's a pink shoe, pinkish shoe, the 4. Not something that's easy to wear. I think people are being more cognizant of how much they can actually wear something. It's an amazing shoe, high quality, materials are incredible. They sent me a pair. I have a pair here. But I think it's less about A Ma Maniére and the work that they've done, because they did a fantastic job with the shoe, and more of a response of the community of this kind of almost anti-Jordan in a sense right now. It's very hard to find a Jordan shoe that has the sort of hype that everything Jordan was doing was hyped before. And maybe that's part of it as well. The hype cycle for Jordan product is not, the aperture isn't as wide as it used to be. So it's very narrowed. Like before, any and everything from Jordan brand was getting hyped up.
Right.
And now I think that window has been closed, and it's going to be very few. Even with, we talked about it a few weeks ago, the Jordan Reimagined that's supposed to drop in November, I think it was, or November or December. That got being canceled.
The black toe? Oh, the black toe?
That being canceled and being pushed back. I think it's hard for Jordan to generate the sort of interest that they used to generate. And the result of that is seeing incredible releases from Jordan sitting, as opposed to selling out, something that we would expect to sell out because of the quality, because of the craftsmanship, because of the look, because of the materials, because of the way, the high level way that it was done. Seeing that stuff sitting on shelves now.
Yeah, it's interesting that you put it in a way that it's like a lashing out. It's like, they weren't able to get the rare Nikes or the rare Jordans that they weren't able to get for like years, and it's like, fine, I'm gonna go somewhere else. It's almost like a kid. It's almost like you're talking to a kid and they're just like, oh, I'm not going to do what you tell me.
I think that's possible, but I also think taste change as well. The taste changing is also a part of it. And the stuff that J-Tips is doing is becoming more in trend, where, Jordan has the privilege of being like a classic take, and so they're gonna have that like sort of classic always be around feels to them, especially the 1, 3, 4, and 11 have bridged the societal gap where they're bigger than just like the sneakers that they are, and they kind of can be around forever, I think, in different iterations. And so I don't think they'll ever completely lose their luster, but it's like the Samba, how the Samba has been around since the 70s or 60s or 70s or whatever it is, and it goes through its ups and downs.
Yep.
I think we saw the ups of the Jordan Retro, and now it's kind of going down into a down cycle, and eventually that'll turn around.
Yeah, and we did talk about like what the taste of going to be of like the next generation. I think along with that, there's going to be a new generation that comes along and just sees these Jordans and like, oh, these are cool, and the cycle starts back up again. So eventually, like I think we'll hit a point where the Jordans will come back into favor in the way that they were during like the the 2010s. I think that will happen at some point. It's just a matter of like when. It's a matter of like when it hits that right time, that right moment, the right person wears it. And and at the same time, the quality and Jordan Brand House has to like do their part and release stuff that people want. So yeah, I think
the house of Jordan is in a downtrend at the moment.
House Jordan is in not in shambles, but
not in shambles. Yeah. Not in shambles. I wouldn't say they're in shambles. They've taken a back seat.
Mm-hmm.
They've taken a back seat for the moment.
Yeah, and that does happen, and eventually we'll get back to that point. So, good show, Jacques. Thank you for that email, Kai from Toronto. But before we go,
Kai.
Yeah, shout out Kai. I was like, when I first saw the word Kai, I was like, oh, Kyrie? Nope. I was like, no, he talks to you, actually. He talks to you personally, flies you on his private jet to China. So I forgot, like, I'm the nobody. Jacques is the living legend over there. But before we say goodbye, Jacques, it's time for Sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus. It is. Wait, I thought you were going to do sound. I thought you were going to do the pew 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 pew.
Oh, is it? I was just going to go but.
Oh man! Wow, that was
blackout. Yeah,
you can't save it. That was terrible. That was terrible.
Sorry,
you can't.
I was trying.
So, on the hard pass, we talked about the Nike Kobe 5, the X-Ray colorway that is dropping this week. So I figured instead of like the regular cadence of Jordans that we do for Mount Rushmore Plus, we're going to do the Nike Kobe 5 Mount Rushmore Plus. So once again, it's one OG, one non-OG, one collab, one player exclusive, and one wildcard. So who went first last week? I think it was me who went first last week. So Jacques, I believe you have the honors. What is your OG colorway of the Nike Kobe 5?
I'm trying to think of the OG colorways, and I'm gonna say,
and that's the thing is there's so many. We've gotten to that point where there's so many.
Yeah, so I would say the Bruce Lee is my OG.
Cool, very very good choice. Definitely one of those. When we first saw it, I was like, oh, that is I need to have that, and I never got it because it was tough to get even back then. That was a good one. Yeah. So for my pick of OG colorway for the Nike Kobe 5, it's going to be the Dark Knight. I know people love the Chaos colorway, the homage to the Joker and everything, but for me, when I found out that there was going to be a Dark Knight colorway, I was like, I need to have that. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to buy it, but my brother was able to actually buy it in the Philippines. It was just sitting it was just sitting at the store because, outside of America, people just buy sneakers and whatever. It's not that big of a deal. So I just found it there. The store was just sitting. And I've been able to wear his pair of the Dark Knight 5, Kobe 5. So I really appreciate that. So that's my pick for the OG. So for your non-OG pick of the Kobe 5.
The Prelude. Was the Prelude an OG or not? That was after, right?
The Prelude was after. Yeah, it was way after, so we'll count that as a non-OG.
Okay, yeah, so the Prelude, the Kobe 5 Prelude, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good pick, and that was actually also what I was going to pick, but I'm going to go with my alternate pick for the Kobe 5 non-OG is going to be the alternate colorway of the Bruce Lee. Since you went with the original Bruce Lee, I'm going to go with... Yes, I'm going to go with the alternate one.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. All right, Jacques, so this one is going to be interesting because there's not a lot to pick from. The collab choice for the Nike Kobe 5. I think not a lot to choose from. So
would Eyeball be considered a collab?
I don't know, man, because like that's their own camp, right? Like that's their own like Nike's elite.
Yeah, I guess that's a Nike camp. Yeah,
that's a Nike camp. So
well, again, I guess then the only other one is the Undefeated stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only other one.
Which one are you going with? The because there's two, I believe. There's like the What If, and then there's the Hall of Fame, the gold one.
I'm gonna go with the What If.
The What If. All right. So if you're gonna go with the What If, I'm gonna go with the Hall of Fame. Even though I do have the What Ifs here, so I was like, we'll do that. I'll do my best Nick Engvall. It'll be like, oh, here we go. Here's the sneaker. So yeah,
I don't have mine here. Mine are in the studio. This is the Juan Flex show.
Oh yeah, sure. I would get murdered every time if we actually had to do something like that.
Welcome to the Juan Flex show, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my gosh. So anyways, moving on to the player exclusive the Nike Kobe 5, Jacques. What is your pick for that one?
I'm gonna mix this. Well, I'm gonna go with USC.
Oh. Those are good.
Yeah, USC. They had some pretty good ones. They have one like the burgundy one. I think really pops.
Cool. So for my pick for the PE is going to be a DeMar DeRozan special. It's going to be the Fiesta.
I knew it. I was gonna say DeMar DeRozan's, but I was like, what? Gonna go with that C.
It's the one that he had when he was a member of the Spurs, which allowed him to like wear those kind of funky colorways and everything. But yeah, no, so I'm gonna go with the Fiesta. I thought that was really cool. I wish those had actually come out. Did they come out or not? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I think you're like, wait, do I have those?
I know. I was like, I'm looking to see what I have. For my next one.
Oh, Jacques gonna break out with something awesome for the. All right, so look forward to that. No. Jacques, so that was a good pick though. That was a good pick. The SC, and then mine is a Fiesta. Yeah. So for your wild card pick for the Kobe 5,
the 5-time champs.
Yeah, there we go. Shout out to
Mambo. Like I'm cool like Juan now. Cool like Juan now.
All right, so for my wild card, I'm going to go with the NBA 2K, the Gamer Edition. That was that came out. One. That was in collaboration with like NBA 2K. You had to do a special event in NBA 2K20. Yeah, I think you had to like outscore Kobe for a particular game, and if you did that, you were able to like unlock access to a special. Kind of like an alternate colorway of the Chaos, Kobe
the Chaos 5 alternate,
yeah. So that would end up being my wild card pick for the Kobe 5. So yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool Mount Rushmore, Jacques. It's more in line with us. Yeah, that was good.
Now, I would say special shout out to PJ's colorway. PJ had his like own PE colorway of the Kobe 5. So.
It feels like he has his own program. It feels like he has his own player exclusive.
Yeah.
He's like a college unto himself.
yes. That's the best way to put it. College of PJ Tucker. Yeah.
The college. Yes, the school of PJ. Yes. UPJ University. UPJ. Yes, that's how we're gonna.
Yeah, UPJ. Yeah.
Yes, that's how we're gonna end this show. Courtesy of the University of PJ Tucker. So.
Of PJ Tucker.
We're gonna put this up on the socials. Comment on it, share us your Sneaker Mount Rushmore plus your own personal ones, and vote on the poll and see who will win that. I still haven't checked. I should probably go check who won the last poll, but
we already know I won. So thanks, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. We appreciate you guys picking me as the winner. I didn't expect it, but I do know I make better choices than Juan. So thank you guys for watching the show. I'm Jacques Slade. I appreciate the W. We haven't checked the actual score, but we all know. We all know. We all know.
Wow. If you weren't watching the video, my face it just made this face of like I think the word is incredulousness, incredulity, or whatever you want to say. I was like, man,
I think you mean right. The face was a face of confirmation, is what I saw.
Wow,
so that's all.
Wow,
that's all.
I am. That's yeah. I think we'll just leave it at that. We're gonna end on a sour note on this episode of Too Hard Too Fast. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching, listening. Like, comment, subscribe, leave the 5-star ratings on all the podcast platforms. Again, greatly appreciate you guys rocking with us. And again, I am Juan Martinez at Easyville, and Jacques Slade, if you can't see right now, is trying to break the world record for a Rubik's Cube while doing his shameless plugs.
My shameless plug, the longest time to do a Rubik's Cube. I'm Jacques Slade. You guys can follow me at Cousteau all over the place, at all of the places. Thanks for watching Too Hard to Pass. We really appreciate you guys locking in with us and enjoying these episodes. If there's anything you want us to talk about, Juan gave you guys an email address. Just shoot us an email or hit us up on social. Let us know if you want us to change things up. If there's a topic you want us to discuss, all of those things. We're here to make this show better and better and better as it goes on. As always, we appreciate you. Hope you enjoy your week, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Jacques, I've never actually solved the Rubik's Cube.
Oh, that's shameful.
Wow.
I only did it because of the internet. So shout out to the internets.
Wow. I thought you were going to be like, I'll help you on. I'll show you the way. I'll show you how to do it. But you're like, no, that's shameful.
I will send you a link to a YouTube video. Yeah.
All right. We out, everybody. Peace.